Oh man. Look at this action. This is very vigorous yeast action right now. The bubbler's pumping away. Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on with my hair? It's fine. I got a message or a comment from 02 Power Strike a couple of days ago asking me to explain how I eBay this stuff. And by stuff, he means the tools and all the stuff that you see me post blogs about recently. But I've been doing stuff like this my entire life. Basically, I buy things, I buy low, sell high. Realistically though, there's much more that goes into it. And I break it down to basically three things, and they're on this board. One, demand and the supply of the particular product. Your margins if you buy and sell and trade in that product, and then the size and the effect of shipping. So to explain demand and supply, I'm gonna have to go to the whiteboard. Supply and demand, the often said, totally misunderstood concept of bringing things to market based off of a cost at which you produce them. This is money, and this is quantity of units, okay? This is zero. Let's say a unit is $10, and let's say quantity is 100, okay? It's just a scale, right? No big deal. Okay, and then going up from zero is the supply. And then going down from price is the demand. Okay, what are we saying here? Well, we're saying a couple economic facts, is that as the price of a good goes up, the more people are willing to produce it at quantity. Simple, right? If the market for 22 bullets is very high, there will be more people that want to produce 22 bullets, okay? Unless there's some market contributing factor that prevents that from happening, which is like what we saw. On the other hand, as the price of the good is high at the $10 mark, you will have less amount of buyers. Versus if the cost is low, you will have lots of buyers. The demand for the supply will be high. So basically what that's saying is if you drop the price down on that unit to $2, you're gonna have 75 people or more that wanna buy it at $2. If you take it up to $8 or $9 or whatever, let's call it $9, you're only gonna have 2 people or 20 people that wanna buy it. So it's a basis of understanding your supply versus your demand and factoring your cost or your break-even point. Which the equilibrium, now this isn't your cost break-in or break-even, but this is your equilibrium. Equilibrium is somewhere here. What this is saying is that for the given price, you'll have roughly this many customers, which is an equilibrium point. The demand has reached the point in which supply is being consumed at the same time that people are buying. This is where you generally want to be in a perfect competition economy. We don't necessarily have that all the time, but we're pretty close to it, and we try to keep towards that. And that's a good thing generally. Okay, now the other factor is your break-even point. Okay, what is your break-even point? So understand this is supply and demand. All right, mathletes, here's where it gets a little bit more fun because we're talking about profits now, okay? So, easy stuff. This is the quantity you sell. This is the money you sell it for. In a standard business, the line, the break-even line kind of goes in an angle like that, okay? At a certain point, if you sell a product for X amount of dollars and you sell X amount of them, your cost of bringing that good to market, selling it at X cost and X amount, will break you even. You are now making money for the month. So anything that you make above this line here, this is all profit. This is all gravy. This is your golden time. This is your happy time. And that line could be crazy. You know, it varies. It could be whatever, graduates, right? There's factors to this though, like the slope of your break-even line. For example, here's the slope of my break-even line, drawn artistically, not backed up with any numbers, because I don't have any costs associated with this other than my eBay costs and my shipping costs and my etc. gas cost to Osh, which is, you know, less like a quarter mile down the street. My break-even line looks something like this. So now I only need to sell like one guy at X amount of dollars, right? So this is one, to break even. Everything past this point is all gravy. So all this here, all of this is profit, 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 profit. You're good, you're golden, you're happy, everything's fine. So the reality is that at a certain point, it's cheaper for you to just go work. Go back to work, do your day job. That's the factor of things that I play with. Like if I'm making a certain amount of money, it's not worth it for me to fool around with these tools and just go back to work. But there's a couple of ways of looking at all that, right? One is the product scarce. And I'll use some practical examples of things that I've sold in the past. Is the product scarce? For example, when the iPad 2 first came out, Apple didn't have any. They were very rare. People were lining up for a long time, and they were buying them at MSRP, and they were reselling them online. People were getting hundreds of dollars, like myself, for one iPad, above the price that Apple set it. What does that mean? It means that Apple set the price too low, and that it was more value added for me to take my time, stand in a line for an hour, 2 hours, make $200, than it was for someone to wait for the supply to reach the cost and then just go pick it up later. Because the demand was so high, it was so hard to get. People were willing to pay $800, $900, $1,000 in some cases for this item that they thought they had to have. That's where your demand way outpaces your supply, and your cost must go up because only the people who are crazy and or rich are going to buy it because it's so valuable to them. It's an implied value thing that human beings have. It doesn't even necessarily really mean anything because the value of the iPad isn't truly what people were paying for it. It was based off of hype, not based off of the material that said pad. This is not an iPad, but you get the idea. The other way that you make money in this is you buy something for a cost well below the MSRP, but is a product that is identical or almost identical to that of the one that goes for twice the amount. Case in point, the drills that I posted about the other day. Those drills, on average, on eBay, sell for $60 a drill. I bought them for $17. That's over 100% return on my investment of $17.50, whatever. In that case, I can sell them for $40, $50, whatever, and I'm still making a profit. And because I can sell it at a discounted cost, I will sell faster because going back to the supply versus demand, people will buy it more if they're cheaper. Obviously, right? That all makes sense. The question is it worth your time? So you got to factor the item, how many you can buy, what you can sell them for, and how easy it is to get to the market, right? So eBay is the preferred method for me to sell. I think it's a seller's market, which means it favors me, the seller. It's better than Craigslist, it's better than whatever because I'm buffered from the buyer. They can send me messages. I can choose not to respond to those messages if I don't want. I can make the whole transaction without talking to a single human being in any transmission form other than them sending me money, me printing out a piece of paper, slapping it on the box, and shipping it out the door. Okay? Very, very simple, very low impact in my lifestyle, and garners me decent cash on the back end. So for me, it's value add. But I have a system, and I'll show you what that system looks like. So let's say you're at some place and you find something that seems interesting, like this sander. You pull up your eBay app and you say True Finish Next Tech Scanner. Oh, I'm getting eBay offers while I'm explaining you eBay. Okay, and then you do a search. Okay, these are the sanders that are for sale. But don't get caught up in this game because these are what they're sold for currently. That's not what they sold for. You want to know what the cost is and what your profit's going to be. So they sold for all the little ones that are in green. Everything that's in green is what those sanders sold for. So you got to go through and you got to find what the new in box as closest to the item that you're thinking about selling sold for. And that gives you a rough idea of what it's worth. In some cases, geez, was that really? That was a $40 sander plus $10 shipping. There's no way this thing ships for $10. So that guy got an awesome deal. I mean, the seller, I'm not talking about the buyer. $39, $36, $39, $39, $37, right? $40, right? Once you take a look at this and you can kind of get an idea, when did it last sell, okay? One sold today, I mean yesterday, day before that, week after that. Once you get a rough idea of what these sell for, then you can price the product, or you can think about buying the product. So obviously the next most important thing you have to worry about is size of the product. How big is it? How heavy is it? Is it easy to carry? Is it easy to hold? Is it easy to ship? This is very light, but it's got kind of a dumb backer board thing. And they use this for stores because they want people to buy it. For me, shipping it, I would prefer the old Leatherman boxes, the little square boxes that was all folded down. You can throw that in a simple bag, like these ones that the USPS will ship you, and you're good to go. Well, what do? Well, go on the USPS website and buy flat rate envelopes. And let me tell you the sizes that I recommend you get. I recommend you get this one, which is the, where is it? Medium bag. They call it the flat rate padded envelope, but basically it's the medium package or the medium envelope on eBay. And this guy. I sell more stuff in this size box, this flat rate media box, small box is what they call it, than just about anything. If you can get it to fit in here, it's very simple to ship because it folds up really easy. Okay, just like that. Throw a piece of tape around the outside to hold this part on. Shove your item in here. If you have leftover packing peanuts from Amazon or whatever, use those. And then just pull this little tapey thing off, seal them up, throw your label on the back, tape gun it on there, you're good to go. What's important to keep in mind here is that I use flat rate for almost everything. So I assume that the shipping cost generally for something yay big to yay big is gonna be about $5 to $10. So I just factor that directly into the price of the good that I'm selling, and you can either choose to increase the cost on eBay to swallow that, assume that cost, or you just add it on and say, hey look, I charge $5 shipping, straight up, whatever. Which is sometimes what I do, because what makes it easy in some cases for me is I just go on eBay, I set the shipping amount to $5, period, for wherever it ships in the United States. I don't do international right now. In the United States. If it's going to Maine, well, then I eat a couple of bucks. But I'm already making close to 300% on some of these items. Yeah, this one, was it 17? Sell for 40? A little over 100. The point is that I want to make it as easy as I can on myself so that I don't spend much time mucking around with it. The things that have made this profitable for me to actually chase and run down is the integration of eBay and PayPal and the United States Postal Service for shipping. Everything goes through eBay and PayPal, and you can print your shipping labels directly off of your computer onto a piece of paper. You can slap it on the box and you just drop it off at the post office. So if you live close to the point of purchase for the items that you're selling, case in point Osh, and you live by the post office, it's very inexpensive in a lot of cases to do this. If you're very close, like I am, you can play the margins game. By margins game, you can sell a lot of small products at low value and make money that way, or you can try and do what I do, which is just look out for the big whales and sell them that way. That's pretty much it. So let me see if I can recap. It's all about supply and demand. If you're either buying something at its face value MSRP cost and reselling it for more because people are paying so much more for it. Case in point, the Air Hogs Millennium Falcon drone that came out last Friday is already super popular on eBay. But here's your rub. It sells for $100 in stores. They're selling for like $150 on eBay. So you're getting 50% money return. But you gotta factor in your eBay costs, your PayPal costs, and your shipping costs. And it's not a small box, so keep that in mind too. iPad, the Air Hogs, Tickle Me Elmo, the Nintendo Wiis, the Xbox 360s, all of which I have bought and resold and bought and resold. Those are short-term, hype-related influxes in demand. The reason why people are paying so much money for it is because there aren't that many and it's brand new. People think they're not an important human being if they don't own one, so they will pay more for it. What did I do? I went and bought iPad 2s and I sold iPad 2s and I didn't have an iPad 2. Why is that? Because I was making more money in selling them than I was sitting at home dinking around with an iPad 2. Did I eventually get an iPad 2? Yeah, I did, but when I bought it, it was paid for. It's paid for by other people. It's paid for by other people and time, okay? So think about it like that. The biggest money and the most securest money and the less risk and the less volatility is finding these items that are valuable, that you're paying much less than the market is actually asking for. And so that's where the iPhone, the eBay app, hell, even Craigslist becomes extremely valuable. So a couple of things, right? I'm just throwing this out there. Find a place like Osh in your neighborhood. I'm very lucky, I get that, I totally get that. Do you have that? Probably not. But if you do, awesome. If you don't, a good place to start looking for things is yard sales. The problem with yard sales is you get the reverse effect. So take those 8 tracks that I've got that I haven't started working on yet. It's possible that I'm gonna take a loss on some of those 8 tracks, but I'm trying to sell a whole lot of them to recoup my $40 expenses, right? Like, what did I say? That just on the numbers alone, not including the duds, it was like $500 worth of 8 tracks there. Okay, possibly a good deal, but it's gonna take a lot of my time to make that deal worth it. So now I've got to factor in, well, how many hours am I spending playing around with these 8-track tapes, which is much cheaper for me to just go to work. And believe it or not, that's a thing. At a certain point, you should just go to work and not worry about 8-track tapes, or buying foam replacement for 8-track tapes, or buying whatever for 8-track tapes. So it's all a balance, and you really have to get conscious with what the dollar is worth, what people are paying for things, and how you can easily get those things in those people's hands and charge them a pretty penny for it. That's the whole game in a nutshell. I hope that makes sense. It should make sense. This isn't rocket surgery, as I like to call it. Really, you gotta get in the mindset of the supply and demand curve, because it applies to everything. Thinking like this, thinking this way, and looking at things, even things around you that you're already playing with in a different way, could open up a career path for you that you're not even thinking about. That's all I'm gonna do, because this is very less vloggy and this is very much more how-to-y, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. So keep those questions coming. Go on the USPS website and just get some of these packages. Just do that. It's gonna save you money in the long run to just have some on hand. Throw them in the garage. They're good forever. Always have an eye open for a deal, always. And then look it up on eBay, because you can just resell it, right? Who cares? Start thinking about things not for what I want to buy for enjoyment. Start thinking about things of what can I buy to make 100% off of the face value of that thing so I have more money. Right? All right, guys, take it easy.